But anyway, so here's the infographic. Here's the graph here. And so as of now, we all know the history of gold and silver. And currently we have been, for the last 100 years, 105 years, this Federal Reserve note here has been centrally controlled by a private organization and has pretty much been the primary reason for income inequality in this country, because you have a institution that's designed to support the commercial banking system, because that entity is owned and operated by the too big to fail banks in a nutshell. And then we have the idea that they're a product. And so in my very first ebook, 4 Simple Lessons You Never Learned in School, I talked about the idea that the Federal Reserve note is actually a product. You know, despite what they say, despite what they want people to believe, it's actually a private organization. Because if you YouTube Alan Greenspan, he'll tell you that the Federal Reserve is outside the control of any body. The president, the government, of course the president, they'll say that, but I'm sure the bankers already bought and paid for most presidents anyway. But they'll say that the Federal Reserve is beyond any governmental jurisdictions, which means they're private. So every corporation has a product or a service that they, you know, give to the world. And I use the analogy of Apple. Apple is right now, one of the biggest corporations. And what's their product? Phones, tablets, whatever, watches, whatever. That's their product. They stay in business because they sell, and there's a demand for their products. Whereas the same with us, Federal Reserve note, the Federal Reserve system, or the banks are organizations. Their product is they control the money supply of our country, and they issue these pieces of paper that we use, as well as the digits, and they allow the commercial banks to issue the digits into existence. So long story short, we all know what's happening with this one. And so these are the properties that give you a good idea as to what people should be more willing to consider in the long run, given the things that's happening. And a good example and a good reason why you might want to be more concerned with these properties is the fact that if you replace this piece of paper here and you were to put this note right here, and you put that like right on the screen, you put that right on the screen up there, it will fall under these same categories here. But yet we all know this is already hyperinflated away, because number 5 on the graph here, nobody wants this. This is no longer acceptable. So already we got to adjust some things. So I'm actually going to work on some other currencies with the same visual aid, so you can see how we are very privileged at this current moment to have the current reserve currency of the world. So because one day we're going to check some of these greens and the red, and then these right here eventually will have to be made green, because they're going to have privacy, they're going to have all that stuff like that. So anyway, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?